Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to episode 8 of the Ashra Mubashara series. My name is A.Qadri, and today we will be discussing the life and incidents of Abu Ubaidah Amir ibn Jarrah radiallahu anhu. His actual name was Amir, and his father's name was Abdullah, but he was usually called Abu Ubaidah Amir ibn Jarrah radiallahu anhu. He became Muslim the day after Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu accepted Islam, and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu was the one who converted him since they were friends. Prophet ﷺ used to call him the Amin of Ummah, meaning the trustworthy of the Muslim Ummah, and the reason for this was that there were three men in Quraysh that when you would say something to them, they would never contradict you, and when they would speak to you, they would never deceive you. These three people were Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Usman radiallahu anhu, and Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu. So in today's episode, we will focus on his trait of being the Amin of Ummah, meaning the trustworthy one. He was a very skilled archer. At the age of 5, his father taught him how to do weighted squats. By the time he was 8, he could shoot arrows on stationary targets. By the age of 10, he could shoot a target while riding a horse. And by the time he was 12, he could shoot a moving target while he was riding a horse. So he was very skilled. He could also tell by seeing the footprints and manure of animals to see how many animals were brought for battle and how many were there for loading. He also made 2 migrations, one to Abyssinia and one to Medina. One of the stories that is very high in status is that once in Medina, a group of Christians came from Najran to meet the Prophet ﷺ. They requested him to send someone to teach Islam and be the judge in their disputes. So Prophet ﷺ told them to come by in the evening, since he will send a man who is strong and trustworthy for the Ummah. Umar radiallahu anhu heard this and was very interested to see who this person was. After Zohar Salah, the Prophet ﷺ was looking for Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu and then appointed him to go with them. He participated in all the battles as well. In the Battle of Badr, he fought courageously, and while he was fighting, he encountered his father many times, but he kept avoiding him. But his father, Abdullah bin Jarrah, who vowed that if he will find his son, he will kill him. His father kept appearing in front of him, and at one point their encounter got so intense that his father was killed by him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala displayed Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu's character in the Quran too, in Surah Mujadala. In the Battle of Uhud, he did well and stayed with the Prophet ﷺ and tried to defend him to a degree that when the Prophet ﷺ was injured and a piece of armor was stuck inside his cheek, Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu was the one who took the piece out with his front 2 teeth. He ended up breaking his teeth and had a speech impairment after. At the time of the Prophet ﷺ's death, Umar radiallahu anhu was the first one to give allegiance to Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu as the successor of the Prophet ﷺ. Umar radiallahu anhu said that it's because his ears have heard the Prophet ﷺ call Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu the Amin of Ummah, so he should be entrusted with the successorship. But Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu turned it down since he couldn't put himself in front of a man who was given the responsibility of leading Salah by the Prophet ﷺ, meaning Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. At the time of Umar radiallahu anhu's caliphate, Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu was appointed as a general in Jerusalem. Once Umar radiallahu anhu gave a surprise visit and asked Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu to take him to his house. Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu responded by asking him why he wants to go to his house and why he wants to hurt his eyes. Upon entering his house, Umar radiallahu anhu only found a rug and a jug. That's it. So only 2 things, 1 rug and 1 jug. Umar radiallahu anhu's eyes filled with tears and said nothing else beside this. He told Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu that he is a leader in Jerusalem, so he should have some more. Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu responded that what he has is enough for him to get to the other side, meaning the Akhirah. Umar radiallahu anhu began to cry and said, I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this dunya has changed all of us except Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu, because he never forgot his true mission. During the caliphate of Umar radiallahu anhu, as I mentioned in the episode of Umar radiallahu anhu, there was a plague like the coronavirus that broke out in what we call today's Jordan, where 25,000 people, including Muslims, died. Umar radiallahu anhu used to love Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu so much that he would say that he wants a room full of Abu Ubaidahs. Because of this love, Umar radiallahu anhu wrote a letter to Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu saying that he needed him urgently, so he should come to Medina immediately. Umar radiallahu anhu wanted to save him from the plague, so Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu wrote back saying that the Prophet ﷺ instructed us to not leave a place where there is a plague. So even though Umar radiallahu anhu was the Amir al-Mu'mineen, the Prophet ﷺ's statement is higher than his order. So he stayed in that area. He didn't go to Umar radiallahu anhu. He stayed in the area and he ended up catching the plague and passed away because of it. On his deathbed, he gave 9 statements of advice. So I'm going to list these advices off for you. Number 1, do your salah. Number 2, give zakat. Number 3, observe your fasting and perform voluntary fasting. Number 4, do hajj. Number 5, frequently visit the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 6, learn to guide others to goodness. Number 7, be genuine to those above you. Do not cheat your leader. Number 8, you will eventually die. Number 9, which is the last one, the intelligent ones amongst you are those who prepare for the hereafter. Maz ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu performed his janazah prayers. The lesson that we need to take from this is that when we are involved in the work of deen, don't be concerned about your progression and your status in it being lifted, because you will forget your mission and your purpose. Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu never forgot his purpose. He kept himself simple, and that is why he is the Amin of Ummah. Now, as I mentioned, I will be giving you tips as we go along to remember all these names, because these are long names. So, what I said was, first we can remember the names of the first 4 caliphs. And then we can remember the 2 best friends, which was Talha radiallahu anhu and Zubair radiallahu anhu. So we have the 4 caliphs and the 2 best friends. Now coming on, we have the 2 companions whose name starts with A, Abdurrahman ibn Auf and Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhuma. So how we can remember it so far is we have our 4 caliphs, our 2 best friends, and our 2 companions with A's. And as we go along, I'll be giving you tips to remember the next few names as well. Jazakallah khair for joining me for this episode. I will see you in the next one. Assalamu alaikum.